that program where we like, anyone late to first period, we just take them and put them in a room to do nothing.
Sweep is an unnecessary process that the security guards take for people that are late to school, even like 30 seconds in from the breezeway. And like, you can be 10 feet from your class and they'll still take you to sweep for no apparent reason.
What's sweep? Sweep's awful. It's like prison.
Sweep starts after the last bell rings, and students who are late coming in go to sweep for that period. They don't go to their first hour of class.
It's horrible. You get locked in a room, it's silent, there's no escape. Once you've done your time, you can walk out. And if you're late. Sweep.
Sweep is for kids that are late to first hour. They get swept or captured by the security guards and sent to, I believe, Miss Doris' room.
I have no clue. I do not know how long sweep's been around. Did it start like last year, 2 years ago? Yeah.
Too long.
I have no idea how long sweep has been around, but I feel like it's been here since the 80s.
Sweep's been around about 5 years.
The purpose of sweep is probably just to get kids to be more on time, like to realize that they have more time restriction, and that in real life, if you're 5 minutes late, that it affects you way more than just missing a class.
I honestly don't know. They're putting you in a room to do nothing. What does that teach?
Sweep is basically to make it so, make you not want to be late.
To get kids to show up to school on time.
We used to have a great many students, maybe 50% of the population would be late for school. And it cuts it way down.
I feel like you can't do any work in sweep to be more as a lesson teacher type thing. Like, if you're going to be lazy about being on time to your class, then you obviously don't care about work, so you don't have to do your work, and they make it so you can't do anything in there.
Can't do any work in sweep because you really, what else are you gonna do?
That's the punishment for being late.
It's my understanding, I mean, I wasn't part of the committee that planned this whole thing, but it's my understanding it's supposed to be a punishment. Therefore, you won't want to be late ever again because it sucks.
Sending students back to class would be more beneficial because sweep is more time consuming than just maybe giving someone something or letting the teacher decide on themselves, because a tardy and an absence can be two very different things. And for first hour, some people have an important first hour, and if they're 30 seconds late and a security guard catches them, they just missed out on a big test. It sucks.
I think in some cases, yes. It depends on what's going on in the classroom.
It would be, but then they're just like, yo, we can be late whenever we want. So put them in the room, sure, but let them do work.
If they would come here on time, if they had a job and they were late, they'd be fired.
Before sweep, everything was probably a lot better. Life was good. Kind of like the 1920s.
It was hectic. There were a lot of students late, a good many students late for school.
If sweep didn't exist, I would think that more kids would be tardy to school.
It'd be about the same, only people would be coming into class. Like, I don't know, 3 minutes later. Like, those people who don't come to class on time will still come to class, just 3 minutes later, when we're all still doing nothing, but sitting in our chairs.
I think we would just go back to the old way of kids kind of strolling into class, which is kind of worse. I mean, it is one of those things that, yes, when they show up, there's no work to do, but I think it's rare as opposed to if they're late chronically every single day for however long, there's less learning going on.
I think some negatives would come from abolishing sweep, but more positives would come out of it than negatives and just outweigh it.
If sweep didn't exist, people would probably get to learn stuff, not fall behind in like their first period, get all up to date in their classwork and such.
Sweep has improved tardies first hour. I've noticed a significant number of kids. The kids used to stroll in half an hour late. They would bring a big sack of McDonald's breakfast with them and say there was traffic. I'm like, oh, you mean traffic in the drive-thru? And they would kind of say, yeah.
Nothing negative will come from abolishing sweep.
I do not think sweep is important.
It's important for the student. That's part of learning.
Yeah.
No, sweep is not important.
How many students do you send to sweep every morning?
Maybe one or two.
All right. Thank you. Have you ever been to sweep?
I have been to sweep once. The experience is actually pretty fun because it was me and a kid sitting behind me, and he fell asleep on his arm, and one of the kids sitting next to me reached over and hit his arm, and he just ate it on the desk. It was funny. It was not a productive session. To be honest, it makes me want to go to sweep.
What is sweep?
Sweep is a process where we help kids get to first hour on time. A few years ago, we were starting to see a scenario where up to 75, 100, 125 kids a day were late to first hour. Some were late for, they got up late. Some were late because they stopped at Starbucks and had to get a Frappuccino or whatever, and it was just getting out of hand. So we started Sweep a few years ago, and it really has helped. There's very, very few kids are late to school first hour, and it's really, really improved our first hour attendance. Obviously, then learning and grades and all those things go in a positive direction.
How long has it been around?
I think about 5 years now. About 4 or 5 years ago we started it. Yeah.
What's the purpose of sweep?
Once again, to get those kids in first hour, get their grades up, get those credits, and get closer to graduation.
Why aren't you allowed to do any work in sweep?
The reason we have sweep is a situation where the kids come in there, they sit quietly, they're not on cell phones, they're not messing around, they're not sleeping, and that scenario of having them sit quietly seems to be a deterrent and create a situation where they don't want to come back a second time and they want to get to class.
Wouldn't sending students back to class be more beneficial?
It would be if the students would then not have a problem being late again, but we found by sending students to class after they're late, They're repeat offenders, and sweep has been very, very good about not having repeat offenders. Our whole goal is kids on time, prepared, in class.
What were things like before sweep was established?
They were good, but once again, we had a lot of kids late, so now they're much, much better with regard to first hour attendance.
What do you think would happen if sweep didn't exist?
I think we go back to Frappuccino and Starbucks and all that other stuff, and having dozens and dozens, up to 100 or more kids late to first hour.
So do you think sweep is important?
Yes, very, very important. You bet.
Before sweep, everything was probably a lot better. Life was good.